This week on the podcast, I planned a trip to get back to Walt Disney World in 8 days. Carrie and I are talking about the first week here, what I really think about Magic Band Plus, and I rode Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep, I did. Should you ride it? Well, I've got some advice for you. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started.
Hiya, pal.
Hey, world traveler. Epcot world traveler.
That's what we'll call me, although I didn't quite get as far around the world as I thought I would in this heat. How are you?
I'm all right. I think the question is, how are you feeling that you're finally back at Walt Disney World?
Carrie, I
the
can't
reunion.
Even explain it. You can't even explain it. It is, so we're recording this with me in Walt Disney World in Coronado Springs, and I'm so excited to be here, and I'm just ecstatic. Yeah.
So we're gonna do a little recoup of your trip, but you have a review to read, right?
I do. We got another review on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars. So thank you very much. And the title of it is "I Love This Podcast." Nice, eh? Okay. And it's funny, I saw a friend, and he was saying that he was listening to one of the podcasts, and he says he can totally hear our Canadian accent. But he's Canadian. So I was like, I just realized that was a sidebar when I said a. Anyway, okay, ready?
Yep.
It says, I have never listened to podcasts before, but I love this podcast. It just makes me happy, and you can't help but smile when you're listening to it. Listening to Francine and Carrie talking all things Disney on the way to work or when tidying up the house is now my new thing to do. They give me such a good laugh, and I totally join the conversation with them, even though they can't hear me. And that was Laura Mack in Great Britain.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was very nice. Thank you for that review. See, we can help people clean.
That's when I listen to my podcast usually when I clean, when I cook dinner, or when I clean dishes or clean the kitchen. I have them on.
Nice.
It's easy.
I used to listen when I drove, but yeah.
Like when you're cleaning the washing and you're laughing or whatever while you're washing the dishes, you're just standing there at the sink giggling at something or whatever. But,
yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. So last week on the podcast, we talked all about these magic bands and our first thoughts. And now I'm here to experience them.
Excellent.
Yes. So where do we want to start, Carrie? This was a whirlwind. Becky's okay, so forget it. I'm just booking a flight.
Right. 8 days before you arrived.
Yeah.
So you have an interesting airport story. Should we start with that?
Oh my goodness. You know that Toronto is listed as the worst airport in the world right now. And I was like, I think they got to be exaggerating or whatever. Carrie, they were not exaggerating. I felt so bad for some of these people. And it's funny because depending on who you talk to, depending on when their flights were, some people had no issue. Some people had the same issue as me. So apparently the first thing in the morning is the disaster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is, of course, when I was flying. So my flight was 7 a.m. So I had to be at the airport for 4. But they don't open anything till 4. So there's the security, the bag check, everything is not open till 4. So everyone with a flight between, say, 6:30 and 9 o'clock are all trying to get there and get through this thing that they know is going to happen. Carrie, when I arrived at the airport, the cab dropped me off. I walked in the door, and there was just a line. I didn't know what the line was for, but the line was the length of the terminal.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I saw a little bit further, there was another line. I couldn't figure out what the difference was in the two lines, but they were both headed the same direction. So I went to, the little kiosk you do for WestJet, print your bag tag and stuff. And then I asked these people that were in one of the lines, I'm like, is this for the bag drop off? Because I saw they had like a full size bag. And they said, no, bag drop off, you got to go over there. I'm like, all right. So I get in this line that they tell me to get in, and I'm standing there for like 10 minutes. And then I thought, this is not the right place. I know this. Like, I travel all the time. I know this is not where I drop my bag. So I go back. I'm asking all these people, like, is this the line for this? Like, Carrie, there's like, it looks like thousands of people in these lines.
Wow.
Finally, I find an airport person. And because I'm walking towards where the bags, I figure I'll go to the bag drop off and then I'll follow the line backwards. So I know I'm in the right one. I get up, there's no line for the bag drop off. So I get up, I'm like, wait a minute, where's the bag? So I asked the airport person, I'm like, where's the bag drop? And she's like, there's no line, it's right here. But I only know that because I've been through this airport 100 times. All these people are standing in line thinking they're standing in line to drop off their bags. They are not. They are in line for security.
Oh.
And some of them were in line to drop off their bags at the Canadian drop off and not the US drop off.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot.
Right? So the Canadian one's at one end and the US one is at the other. So originally I was in the Canadian one. Oh, it was such a disaster. So I get up to the bag drop off. There's nobody there. Put my bag on the thing. And then I'm like, oh, look at this security line. So I'm thinking the Nexus line probably is just a little bit smaller. So I asked the guy, he's like, no, it's right through here. I go over, like, here, there's maybe 30 people in front of me in line for Nexus. So I sail through. But let me tell you, there were people in that line that absolutely missed their flight. Absolutely did not get their bags dropped off.
Wow.
I showed up at the gate. I'm sitting at the gate. There's just me. Just me. And when the crew arrives, there's like 3 other people in the waiting area. And she says to me, is this my flight to Orlando? I'm like, I think so. This is it. She's like, there's only 3 of you. I know.
Because everybody's in line.
Exactly. So I heard them calling security. So apparently, I guess they call security to see how many passengers are still in line and get them through. There was a family there where half their family was through. The other half hadn't made it through. They were still in line. They thought they were going to miss their flight. I saw them taking bags off the plane. So like, it was insane. It was insane. And I felt so sorry for people who don't travel often because they were for sure in the wrong spot. For sure, wasting time.
Yeah, and
I was so glad I was alone, Carrie.
When people talk to you now about traveling, they're like, "Oh yeah, the airports are crazy right now." But like, my last like 5 flights before COVID were just like that too, right? Like, we get there bright and early, we zoom through the line, we're getting on the plane, and then we're waiting 45 minutes because they're waiting for more people because they can't leave without, like, they need to have so many people on the plane. That happened many times before.
Yeah.
Like, the airport's been messed up. Not just COVID, folks.
No.
There's been staffing problems with customs and security. And that's what they said it was back then, right? Like, they can't get through all the people that need to get through in time. So
yeah,
still continues.
And I was in line in the Nexus line with a guy who, he's like, do you live in Toronto? And I said, yes. And I said, do you? And he says, yeah. And he says, I work here, but I'm not wearing my uniform because, I don't want to be inundated with people at the airport. So, but he was on my flight. So I guess he was flying to Orlando because he works here for WestJet. But yeah, he just said, like, it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yikes. But the rest was okay? Like, you left a little bit late?
Yes, we left a little bit late once we're on the plane, and it worked out really well because I finally copped and paid for my seat. So I got one of the extra leg room, not up in business class. I got the extra leg room, but I saw somebody had already booked the aisle. So I booked the window. So there was nobody between us, which was fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, the lady was a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but whatever. That was next to me.
Like, you mean she was sitting watching like Karate Kid on her phone or something? Not that cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Not that kind, no.
Excellent. Okay.
She was obsessing over her check bag, like her carry-on. So she had it in the overhead, and then somebody moved it and she was flipping out. So then she moved it to a different place. Then she sat down, then she got up, she moved it to the other place. Then finally halfway through the flight, she got up and put it on the seat between us. She was just, I don't know, she was obsessive. But she was nice enough, whatever. And yeah, so then it was fine. Like a smooth sailing, arrived in Orlando, didn't have to wait long for my luggage. The last couple times I've flown here, we waited forever for luggage. No, wasn't a big wait. And I Ubered or Lyfted. I prefer Lyft over Uber. So I Lyfted from the airport.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was $30, I think. And the only issue is that for about 2 hours afterwards, I was pretty sure I was wearing my Lyft driver's cologne. But yeah, it was like $30. She dropped me off at Coronado, and I was good to go.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know I probably should have tried like the Sunshine Flyer or but I just didn't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
But why wait? Yeah.
Taking a lift is pretty easy, so.
It's so easy.
And you're
I
on
just
your own
walked
schedule,
outside,
right?
boom.
Like, that's the big thing. You're on your own schedule. Like, if you don't have little kids to worry about car seats and stuff, or.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, then I came to Coronado Springs, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah. You are staying in what are they called? Casitas?
So I'm in Casitas 4 because I had to book this with my Disney Vacation Club points. So if you don't know, or for people that are listening, you can use your DVC points on regular resorts, but it costs you an arm and a leg. Like, there are a lot of points. But mine were going to expire anyway, so I just thought, well, whatever. And so I'm in Casitas 4. So it's a bit of a trek from the main building, but fine, I get my steps in. I love the room, it's such a great resort.
What what other things do you love about it? Because I think with Coronado Springs, like, everyone kind of chalks it under it's a conference hotel, right? Because it is one of the, hotels that there's, lots of business people here and there. I mean, I'm not there with you there. and like, people feel has a bit of a different feel sometimes because, like, the people that are staying there might be a little bit different. But so I think sometimes people are like, no, not Coronado Springs. But
yeah, it's, there are business people around for sure. As was evident last night, I was waiting for a drink at the bar, and there was it was all these conference people. Must have been like 30 of them. But I think the Wi-Fi is great, obviously, because it's a conference hotel. I had stuff shipped here first, so my wireless router and stuff that I bought, and they were fantastic with leaving it at Bell Services for me, so that, it was there for me on Sunday when I arrived. Bell Services were amazing. They drove me over here. The pool, they have quiet pools. So yes, there's a great big feature pool, which is phenomenal, but they have quiet pools next to the casitas as well, where every time I've walked past it, there's maybe 6 people in it. Has been the busiest I've seen it. So that's fantastic. They have a great food court. They have the Rick's. They have the other restaurant. They have the one on top of the tower. They have Three Bridges, which is fantastic, that overwater restaurant. And Three Bridges actually has to go.
Nice.
So I was working one day from here, because I have to work the magical job while I'm here. And I ordered dinner from Three Bridges, and I just ran over and picked it up. It was fantastic. Their burger,
Their
burger and fries. Oh my gosh!
You just took the bridge over to Three Bridges. You took one of the Three Bridges over.
I did.
Well, I did. Like, and in order for it to be a viable conference hotel, they need to have those extra like restaurant amenities, right? Like, it can't be just a moderate where there's one restaurant and one quick service. Like, a lot of conference goers are not going to leave. Like, they might come and not even go to the park. So they need to, after conference, have, the lounges and the the areas for their conference camaraderie and drinking and whatever that happens.
Oh yeah. Some of them were quite obnoxious last night, but anyway, because of the Three Bridges, so my very first time staying in this hotel, I didn't like it because we were in a casitas and we were meeting a friend, and it felt like we were walking 100 miles to get to the other side of the resort. But because they built those Three Bridges across the water, you don't have to walk all the way around the perimeter of the resort to get there. If you need to get to the other side, you just take the bridge and you can have a direct walkway. So that's been amazing. That just makes everything so much more accessible.
Way better.
Yeah. I love this hotel. Sadly, I'm only doing a week here, and then I'm going to my favorite value.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I'm doing a week at Pop. But
cool.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to?
So I've done
other than working.
So, oh my gosh, Carrie, this is hysterical though. So my boss last week in the office, I was frustrated or whatever, and she gave me like what she thought was a pep talk. So one day I was down here and I'm on a video call with her, and she says, "So I guess you're feeling a little better about how work is going. Like you look much happier." And I'm like, "You do remember I told you I was going to Florida, right?" She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in Orlando right now. That's why I'm happy."
Not because of a pep talk.
Because I have like the virtual background on, so people don't know where I am. But I tell my boss because I'm not going to hide anything. So it's funny because like 2 days later, she says to me, "You really do look much more refreshed and happy." I'm like, "Yeah, if you just let me work from here, you'll have a much happier Fran."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been working during the day, so 9 to 5, but then after work, going to the park. So I've done the Magic Kingdom. I only did like half the. Carrie, it's hot. Like it is hot. Like our local friends said it's hot. Like, yeah. Well, first I had the issue with the water. So you saw my issue with the water. I don't know. So for people listening, I drink lots and lots of water, and I tell everybody drink lots and lots of water. So I ordered my groceries. And when the guy brings them to the room, I ordered 48 bottles of water because I know what I'm like. They were baby bottles of water. They're like 2 gulps per bottle. So I had finished the 48 in 5 days, I guess. Yeah, so I needed water. What was I saying? Yeah, so I've done the park.
You went to Magic Kingdom but it was too hot.
Yeah. And I seriously, Carrie, so I did, like, I kind of went in, I walked around Adventureland and I walked that way, and I couldn't even make it to Tomorrowland. I was like, I got to come back later. And I left. I went and did sort of a tour of the resort. Well, I went to Contemporary, and then I was going to go to Contempo Cafe for lunch, and all I could hear was somebody's voice going, "You always go to Contempo Cafe."
I don't know why you didn't.
So I went to the Poly and I had Kona.
Nice.
Yeah.
My really favorite place.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking about you, and I had the pot stickers. Oh my gosh, the pot stickers, they're so good. And then in the Contemporary, I got to see Irlene. So that's the cast member that's been working here for 51 years. She is such an inspiration, Carrie. Every time I see her, she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll retire." And then she's like, "I don't want to." Like, I'm just happy to just be busy, and
That's awesome.
it's just fabulous. Yeah. So I've done that. And then our friends took me to Hollywood Studios to do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Epcot.
At Epcot, not Hollywood. Oh no, Hollywood Studios. We did our bands, and I did.
You did that first, right? You went to got your band, and then you went the night to explore and play the
games at Hollywood Studios. So the new Magic Band Plus. It's cool. I can't wait to see what they do with it. But it's a bit confusing in the beginning. What you have to do with the quest is not on My Disney Experience. It's on the Play Disney app. So you have to go into the Play Disney app, not My Disney. Like, I don't know why they didn't just put it all in the same spot. So that was a bit confusing for me, but let me tell you, the quests in Galaxy's Edge are fun. That's cool. It's just, yeah, like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but we had fun walking around trying to figure out, because you're basically trying to catch a bounty. So you're trying to find somebody, and you use your phone to do it. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So the Magic Band Plus so far, I'm not sure about charging it. So far my battery's lasting fine. It's just, it makes me nervous going out with it, because what if the battery dies and I can't get back in my room, which is silly because you can use your phone.
Well, I think from what I understand that the battery, like that battery, the battery that you're charging is for all the lighting and the interaction. Like, when the battery's dead, it'll still get you into your room. It'll still tap you into the park.
Okay.
It'll still. So then, I think that battery is just for the lights, right, and the interactions.
So I bought the Tinkerbell one. So it's the little keyhole, which is so cute. And when you're near things, she lights up and vibrates, and
that's cool.
Pretty much it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool.
Yeah, like I think it's all right, but it'll be interesting to see like what they do, like if they keep doing different things, right? Like if they do something at all the other parks to, like, the quests, like whatever they're called.
Yeah, so I've done all the quests for the Fab 50. I did the ones in Epcot, I've done, and the ones in Hollywood Studios. So I still have Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom.
And on the Play app, like, so some of them you open up, like if you have your band near it, it'll just do stuff, right? But isn't there some that you can actually you open up the Play app and it like unlocks things or whatever, or does virtual, like it does augmented reality? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So you unlock it, and then you hold it up to a wall, and then you can see through your phone, like there's a new, like some kind of virtual reality thing.
That's cool.
I don't know how. So you go to these things and they sing or they talk or whatever they do. The nights that I've done it have been kind of quiet in those parks. I don't know what it'll be like when I try to do the ones at the Magic Kingdom when it's busy and there's like 7 of us lined up to get the quest done. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to, like, you can go by and just listen to it if somebody else has done it. But if you want your Magic Band to trigger it so that you get the quest in your phone, you have to wait until it's done doing whatever for whoever, and then that's
kind of neat. I kind of like that part of it, like being like the collector in me too, right? Like it's something that you can accomplish and it gets recorded. Like, does it stay there that you've collected, that you've done it all?
Phone. Yeah, so you're gonna love that collector piece, and then it gives you like a little woohoo! You did it when you collect all of them at the park.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're gonna like that. You're gonna like that. And you ordered your Magic Bands, like you have Magic Bands. Yeah. Magic Band Plus. Nice.
So then you did something terrifying.
Carrie, like, I know you and I don't like to do spoilers before things, but in this scenario,
you wish you did.
Yeah. Carrie, I was so, oh my goodness. I was like so worked up. I was so tense.
You were nervous.
I was nervous. I had heard our friend Bob it was not good for his tummy. So I was nervous about. I knew you said you were okay, but then I was like, I don't know. Like, what if I'm more like Bob and less like Carrie? And so I had 700 things swirling in my head, and then, but the queue is really cool. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even a Guardians like fan. I love that they talked about Horizons and stuff in the queue. That was fun. And like talk about the past Epcot.
Yeah, like when awesome. Star-Lord's talking about, oh yeah, I love Walt Disney World. I went there when I was a kid, and he's like veggie, fruit, and then they're like, and you're thinking, dude, it's been a long time since you've been at Epcot.
Yeah, that was fun. So but I should have had some spoilers.
I guess. So I think too, because you went later in the day. Like, I was surprised that, because I knew you had worked all day and then you were going in after work, and I'm like, how did you guys even get a virtual queue? Like, if you were at work all day, like, because the later queue, the first queue you can do from your bed if you have a Epcot Park Pass reservation, but the second virtual line that you can get into, you have to be in the park. So then I was like scratching my noggin going like, what are these guys doing? It's after work. Like, how did they make that work?
Well, so maybe I don't know. So our friend got the virtual queue in the morning, and it was for later in the day. But it had technically expired by the time we got there, and they let us in anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, but you wish they didn't now.
Well, kind of. Like, now I'm like, because I was stressing about it, and then we got in the line, and it's funny because our friends are like, they're in their 20s, they're young. When we got off the ride, they were, are you okay? Do you want me to carry your water? Do we need to sit down? Like, it looked like they were so worried about me collapsing or something.
Well, and I think it might have been better if you weren't so late in the day. Like, hey, you spent the whole day working, right? And then so the day's long, and then you're sweaty and hot and nasty, and you're stressed out about it, and you're stressed about it, and you're stressed out about it, and then you jump on a ride like that. Yeah. Like, I think I would have been not very good in that situation. Yeah. Like, I think if I would have done that, it would have been my one and done ride. I'm willing to ride it again, but I think I might not have if I would have done the same thing as you.
I think I am a one and done. I feel like some people do need, I should have got a spoiler. So I know we don't do spoilers.
This is your disclaimer.
But I'm doing a disclaimer now. So if you don't want a spoiler for Guardians of the Galaxy, fast forward this a little bit, maybe, a minute and a half, because I'm going to give some spoilers because I think people need to know this before they get on it. Okay, so go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to hear this. If you're still here, it's because you're kind of thinking, should I do it? Carrie, I didn't realize that it starts off backwards. So we got in the tunnel, like at the beginning, and the car almost like turned around. And I looked at our friend Curtis, and I'm like, oh, Curtis, please tell me this is not going backwards. And then, boom, it was like, fired us out. Carrie, my throat has been sore for 2 days from my screaming. Like, I could barely catch my breath. And then it almost like swings, like it turns and it swings and
I'd almost say it dances on the track.
You can call it dancing, but the fact that you're going over these hills and it's a coaster, but it's an omni coaster is what they kept telling me. So it's an omni coaster, kind of like the Haunted Mansion, where the car turns to face what you need to see. This does this on a coaster. So I couldn't get my bearings to look straight. So I really wanted to close my eyes, but everybody told me, don't close your eyes because then you'll really feel sick. So I forced them to say, let me just say, like, glad I did it. Impressive ride. Fabulous. Never again, I think.
Well, and since you're spoiling it a little bit, like, for the people that want to know what it's like it's not a coaster inside. Like, it isn't like Rock and Roller Coaster though.
No, like, it's not like that. It's not
the part that's wonky is that and I've only been on it once, but from what I remember, like, like everything seems kind of low. It's just that it kind of swoops and it spins and there's all kinds of screens around you, but it's not like a traditional roller coaster where you're up and down and around and you're just zooming by things like you would on a roller coaster. Like it's not Space Mountain, it's not like Rock and Roller Coaster. It's almost like, it's hard to explain. It is a roller coaster, but it's more like in its own realm of, it's a roller coaster because it is a roller coaster, but it really isn't like anything like a traditional roller coaster. It kind of glides and spins and does move fairly quick, but everything's kind of low and yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. And so it was impressive, 1,000%. I'm so amazed what they did. I just don't think that my 50-year-old body needs to endure it again.
Yeah. I think I would ride it once in a while, but I'm not going to go ride on it. Like, and I think when I was younger, I might have been able to ride it like multiple times, but I think I think the way that my body reacts is the older person that can't take roller coasters like they used to. Like it's not going to make me hug the garbage can, but when I'm done, I'm like, that was awesome. But if I wouldn't get off and get on again. Right. I don't think. Maybe I could do it twice, but like early in the morning.
Maybe early in the morning, but when we got off it, I would say it took me about 10 minutes before I felt sort of okay. And then like we went for dinner, we ate, I was fine.
Yeah, it didn't wreck the rest of your day.
It didn't wreck the rest of my day, except for my throat. Like seriously, my throat was sore for 2 days. I actually did a COVID test because I thought I had COVID, but it was just screaming.
Oh my goodness.
It was it was sheer terror on my face in that ride photo.
when I went on it with Caitlin, we were like, I like was screaming through the whole thing. She was like taping it for TikToks or whatever, and then when I was done, I was like, I'm sorry about the scream, and she's like, no, that's perfect, like it needed to be there, like we're on a thrill ride, right? But our ride photo, like our hair, because we had our hair down, like you can't even see our face, like we are like, I look like Cousin It. Like there's nothing, like you can't see that there's a face. All you see is hair. And I'm like, that's not really cool for ride photos. Like not everybody has their hair down. Like, I don't know if it was the car we were sitting in.
Oh my God.
But like the picture, like you wouldn't even know it was us. Like there's, if it was somebody else's picture but they don't need to put little they don't need to put emojis over our faces because you can't even see us. So I thought that's not really cool for ride photos if,
Yeah, if your hair
maybe it was where we were or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, you can't even see that it's me because there's nothing but like my hair. So so there's a tip. If you want a good ride photo, pull your hair back into a pony before you go on it, because if it's down, you're not going to be able to see your face. You're going to have no proof that you were on that ride.
Now I have them. Thank God you can see my face, because that's my proof. I never need to do it again. But what's worse is you see these two sitting next to me, like our friends, and they look cool as cucumbers.
Yeah, because they probably
I look like terrified
like a dozen times by now, if not more.
True. But it was pretty intense. I know. But I think I'm interested to hear, because everybody reacts differently. For some, it won't even bother them, and for others like me, who might be I'm glad I did it. Although when we got off, he did say to me, so are you going to do Tron? I'm like, this is not a good day to ask me. Right now, I feel like I'm about 80 years old.
Well, I think when you do Tron, we should do it together so that if it's your one and done, then I can experience it with you.
Yes.
I didn't think it would be. I figured you would probably be the same as me, that you would maybe do it once in a while, right? Like this one, Guardians.
Yeah, I don't know that I could. I think it would take a lot of convincing to get me to do it again.
Mm.
Yeah. And what I think I would do is I would pay for the individual lightning lane instead of the standby, because I feel like if I could get through it quick, I might not be as worked up.
Well, and you wouldn't have your nerves next time, maybe, right? You know what it is, right? Like if it was early in the morning and you were fresh, like if you could do it first thing in the morning, you might be fine.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Why would I put myself through it? Why? I could just watch it on YouTube now. Now that I've done it, like I could seriously just watch it on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch it on YouTube now that I've done it. I didn't watch it. Do you remember what song you had?
Well, I didn't. Curtis told me we had September.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I only when I was on it was a flock of seagulls. So,
Oh,
but I like to ride it when September so I guess I might have that may be my thing. I'm gonna have to ride it until I ride it with that song. Not that it
right.
might take me a while because I'm not gonna ride it a bunch of times in a row. So
You'll be like Jamie
fingers
with
crossed next time it's September. And then I'll be good.
Remember, because Jamie, she does in Disneyland, the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower of Terror. She has like a record of all the songs she's listened to. A ledger.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, Curtis has one for this. He's done all the songs except one.
That's what because I joked with him. I said, "You're keeping a ledger like Jamie," and he's like, "Until I get them all, till I get all the songs."
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah. And that's kind of been it. I've done a little bit of shopping. I got a Judy Hop Nuimo. Found that was fun. I walked last night. I walked to Epcot because I wanted to get that cookie. Remember the cookie that Susan got us at Saratoga Springs that she went all the way to Epcot and brought back for us from Germany? Yeah. I walked all the way there last night. It was hot. It was sweating. I walked through all the food and wine people. I got to Germany and they don't sell that cookie no more.
So it wasn't even that it was sold out. They're like, "Sorry, ma'am, we don't sell that cookie no more."
They don't sell the cookie no more. So yeah, I was not happy, but whatever. It was something to do.
I sent you a few things of merchandise to be on the lookout for, but you haven't had any luck. I've been anything that's new that I think you're interested in. I've been sending you pictures. You've been
sending me pictures. I did. Our friend Anna was looking for. She had some questions about the penny presses. So I did manage to get some pictures for her of the penny press last night in the UK and send that to her. Yeah, so it's been good, and I still have another week.
Awesome.
Well, by the time this goes live, it'll be I'll only have a few days. Yeah,
on the way home almost. That's awesome. I'm glad you're there, and I knew you'd be happy. So it's like you can't.
I'm so happy.
It's exactly as you expected.
But you know what the problem is, Carrie? I know you and I both know, like, chill, relax, blah, blah, blah. We're here all the time. I can tell you that there's still like this part of the back of my head that always feels like you're not doing enough. You're not making the most of it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, and last night I felt that. I went to Epcot, not because I necessarily wanted to go to Epcot, but I felt like I should be in a park. And then it was hot and it was sticky and I was really bummed when they didn't get my cookie. I got a different cookie, but whatever. And when I got back to the resort, I grabbed a beer and I sat down by the water, not at Three Bridges, the one right next to the Laguna Bar. And I was sitting there thinking, this is also vacation.
Absolutely.
Like just kicking back, like the people at the pool and the people at the playing the bocce ball and like all this stuff, like that is vacation too. I don't need to be in the parks. I can just sit and enjoy the resort. And I preach that all the time, but I don't do it enough.
Well, and I think too, like for me, I'm more the opposite. Like when I'm there, I'm not really thinking too much of it. But when I'm home or when we're talking about going or when we're recapping, I'm like, oh, I probably should do more of this or more of that. And I can't believe I don't go in the parks more and I don't, whatever. But when I'm there and I'm living it, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like there's no doubt. Like I'm not talking to myself when I'm there. I'm like, this is exactly how I want to be when I'm here. But when I'm home or when we're planning or whatever, then I'm like, we really should ride that again, or we really should spend more time doing this or that or whatever. It all sounds good. But when I'm there, like, I think we know what we want to do. Like, I think we're well beyond the, like, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I think we do that because, that's just what we do when we're home. But when we're there, I think there's no doubt with how we want to spend our time there. Like,
I'm just trying to find like little things to do that are different that I don't always do. Like going to Kona for lunch. I don't do that normally. So that was something I wanted to do different. But I'm struggling to think of, okay, what is it I want to do? Because it is so hot, Carrie. It's really hard to eat. Like I need to be inside to eat. There's no way I can eat outside. So quick service, stuff like that. Like I can't eat outside.
Well, I think
It's
when you're at
sickening.
that point when you need to make those decisions, you just have to click into your brain, okay, I'm not going to do what I usually do. Like,
Yeah. So I'm gonna try. And see where I end up. I mean, I'm really tempted to go to Steakhouse 71 because the food's so good. But
we've
I've
been
been
there
there,
12 times.
right? So then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. Because I was talking to our
Mm.
friend Dustin the other day, and he's like, "Are you going to Steakhouse 70?" I'm like, no, I've been there 100 times, not doing it. But yeah, that's it. That's
Awesome.
the scoop for this trip so
Excellent.
far. But we're gonna have more on the next episode. It's like
Mhm.
a to be continued.
You can tell us the rest of the adventure.
Yeah, venture is out there. Carrie,
Yeah.
do you have pixie dust this week?
Well, yeah.
I shouldn't frame it like that. You do have pixie dust. You always have pixie dust.
Just sometimes it's hard to I haven't been too far. So my pixie dust, I was struggling with pixie dust and trying to figure where I had joy this last week since the last time we recorded. And I was doing my Lego. So I finally put together my Nintendo Lego, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. So I really, really enjoyed doing that. And like I wouldn't really think of that as being pixie dust, but like I had a lot of fun putting it together. It wasn't too hard, although I have it all together, and you turn a dial on the side and the screen actually rotates, and like Mario, it's like Super Mario Brothers, and Super Mario is like on the screen and he's jumping over the mushrooms and things like that. Like at one point it kind of gets stuck, so I might have to get some help taking it apart to like kind of figure that out. But beyond that, it was really fun to build. And then I kind of said to myself, now that I got that built, I'm all caught up on my Lego building. That means I can buy some more.
Nice. Good for you. See, that's fun.
That was some joy that I had this week. So now I need to buy more Lego. I got to wait for the next double VIP day. Because I was going to buy the Haunted Mansion. They made a little Haunted Mansion
Lego.
Disneyland Haunted Mansion Lego. And I didn't order it on the day that it opened because I was like, Carrie, you got other Lego to do. You haven't finished yet. Your Nintendo is half built. You better finish it. And then like I think they'll have a VIP day because then you get double Lego points. So when you spend your money on Lego.com and your Lego VIP, you get points. And then they have every month or every couple months they have VIP. So then you get double points. So like I probably have like $200 in Lego points in my account.
That's amazing.
Up for whatever. So I didn't buy it. But then after I was finishing my Lego, I thought, oh, but we'll see how long. We'll see if I can last a double Lego day or if I actually buy some Lego.
You can do it
before then. But anyways, so that's my pixie dust.
Well, before you buy it, let me give you my affiliate link because you told me to sign up for Lego affiliate, so I'm signed up. I'm just getting it set up now.
For sure.
Thanks,
that's
Carrie.
Awesome. There's lots of Disney Lego, so that's a good thing to be able to link through on your site. So
yeah, pretty cool.
And we should have thought of it before, really.
I know. But I don't know why we didn't. Sometimes we're a bit slow on the update.
I think there's an affiliate link for everything you can buy online nowadays. We just have to Google it and look for it. But so what's your pixie dust? The land of pixie dust.
In the land of pixie dust. I think this week, honestly, my pixie dust is my new Magic Band Plus. I kind of love that it sounds so cheesy, Carrie, but I kind of love that it lights up. I kind of love that it looks like the keyhole and that sometimes pink is flying behind it or whatever. I really love it. I really love my Magic Band.
It was like a perfect Magic Band for you too.
It was. As soon as I walked in, so I saw it in the Emporium. I walked in the Emporium and I'm like, okay, what kind of band am I? Because I knew I wanted a Magic Band Plus, but I hadn't really looked at what designs there were. And then I saw this one and I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I not? So yeah, that's my pixie dust. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Carrie, next week we'll continue the adventure. Hopefully I'll have some new experiences that I've never done before. Let's see. Maybe not.
Gotta think of it. Stop and say, what can I have? What snack can I have? What food can I have? What place can I go to that I haven't been before? And then go back to your regular scheduled
programming.
Gotta eat.
Right. Yes, I do. Absolutely. All right. And we're looking for more reviews. if anybody feels like it, don't forget on Apple Podcasts. That's where that helps us out a lot. And then share the podcast with your friends and family, or anybody that you think might like to listen to the two of us. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.